You know, when we think of The Little Mermaid, we usually think of it as this timeless Disney classic, right? A movie that's just always been there. But its real story? It's not just about a mermaid who wants legs. It's about a single film that literally saved one of the biggest studios in the world.
So let's get right into it. The big question we're asking is, how on earth did one animated movie pull Disney animation back from the absolute brink of irrelevance? I mean, the stakes could not have been higher.
To really get how big of a miracle this was, you have to understand the mess they were in. So let's rewind to the 1980s. For Walt Disney Animation, this was a truly, truly dark period.
I mean, it was just a perfect storm of bad news. First, after Walt and Roy Disney passed away, the studio completely lost its way, its creative soul. Then in '79, one of their best animators, Don Bluth, just walks out and takes a huge chunk of the talent with him. By 1985, it got so bad the animation team was literally kicked off the main lot and stuck in a warehouse. And their big swing, The Black Cauldron, a massive $44 million bomb. They weren't just struggling, they were in a total freefall.
And here's the real kicker. Disney was getting beaten at its own game by the very guy who had just left. In 1986, Don Bluth's movie An American Tail didn't just do better than Disney's film, it absolutely crushed it. It became the highest-grossing animated movie ever at the time. The magic had well and truly left the kingdom.
Okay, so clearly something had to give. A big change was needed. And that change came from two guys who brought a totally new way of thinking from a completely different world. You've got two key players here. On one side, you have Jeffrey Katzenberg, this super tough executive who basically said, we need to wake up Sleeping Beauty. And on the other, you have Howard Ashman, an absolute genius from Broadway, who had this wild idea that animation could be the next great stage for musicals. One guy provided the muscle, the other provided the soul. And for Ashman, this wasn't just some random thought. He really believed this. He saw that in animation, you weren't stuck in reality. Characters could just burst into song, and it would feel totally natural, powerful, just like on a Broadway stage. He saw it as a perfect marriage of two amazing art forms.
So what was Ashman's secret weapon? It was something called the I Want song. Now, this is a classic Broadway trick, nothing new. But Ashman knew that if you could get your main character to sing this big, powerful song about what they want more than anything in the world, and to do it early on, bam, the audience is hooked. You get who they are, you root for them, and you're with them for the whole ride. It was such a simple idea, but it would change everything.
Okay, so with this new Broadway-style playbook, the studio decided to go all in. They put all their chips on The Little Mermaid, a project that everyone knew was completely make or break. Just think about the pressure here. The studio hadn't touched a classic fairy tale, the very thing that built their empire, since Sleeping Beauty, way back in 1959. 30 years. An entire generation had passed. They were going back to their roots, but nobody had any idea if they could still pull it off. And right at the heart of this huge gamble was the ultimate I Want song, Part of Your World. This was the emotional core of the entire movie, the moment Ariel makes us believe in her dream. And you're not going to believe this, it was almost thrown right in the trash. So get this, during an early test screening, Jeffrey Katzenberg sees one little kid in the audience get bored during the song and drop his popcorn. That's it. His immediate reaction, the song's too slow, it's boring the kids, cut it. He was ready to just rip the heart right out of the movie.
But Howard Ashman, he wasn't having it. He and the animators fought for it. He basically argued that Part of Your World is the movie. It's the reason the audience falls in love with Ariel. Without that song, you don't care about her dream, and the whole story falls apart. And thank goodness, he won that fight. And man, was it a good thing he won. Because saving that song didn't just save the movie, it saved the entire studio. The success that came next was something Disney Animation hadn't seen in decades. The gamble didn't just pay off, it paid off big time. All right, let's talk numbers. The studio scraped together $40 million to make this thing. Now, after the disaster of their last movie, this was a massive, massive risk. So, what did they get back for that $40 million bet? A jaw-dropping $233 million worldwide. It completely shattered the box office record for an animated film. This wasn't just a hit, it was a full-blown phenomenon. Disney was back. And it wasn't just about the money. The reviews were like night and day. The Black Cauldron barely got a passing grade at 58%. Just 4 years later,
The Little Mermaid is soaring with a 92%. The Broadway formula wasn't just making cash, it was making incredible, critically acclaimed movies.
And then, the ultimate seal of approval. The film nabbed 2 Oscars, both for its music. It was official. The Disney musical wasn't just reborn, it was better and more powerful than ever.
But the impact of The Little Mermaid goes so much deeper than just one successful movie. It basically created the instruction manual, the blueprint for what Disney would be for the next 30-plus years.
Seriously, its legacy is huge. Think about it. Ariel was this proactive, ambitious heroine, not some passive princess waiting around. The whole Broadway musical structure it perfected led directly to Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King. That same formula was brought back for huge hits like Frozen and Moana, and it's the entire reason we have all these live-action remakes today. So much of what we think of as modern Disney, it was all born here with this one mermaid.
At the end of the day, this wasn't just a movie. It was the recipe for a golden age that lasted an entire decade. And that leaves us with one last thought, right? What does it actually take to create a moment like that again? What are those magic ingredients, the right people, the right risks, the right vision, that could spark another renaissance?